final social justice theory that we're going to talk about is, well, less of a specific theory than it is a take on social justice from the feminist perspective. Feminism, as we know, is a movement to level the playing field, so to speak, in regards to areas that have traditionally been male-dominated. Consider our social justice theories: Plato, Thomas Hobbes, John Locke, John Rawls, all men. Karl Marx. Sorry, left one out. But still, all men. Traditionally, these theories have been proposed by men. So there is a concern that something is being left out. Okay? So for centuries, male theories of justice have ignored, for lack of a better way to say it, women. There's a concern that women have simply been relegated to domestic roles that have kept them out of the public eye. Roles that keep people in the public eye are roles in politics, economics, and law. But the thing is that historically, it's the woman's job to keep house, take care of the children, and none of that puts them in public life. In public life, historically, women have been, our feminist social justice theorists say, out of sight, thus out of mind. What this has resulted in is groups of men coming up with theories of justice, coming up with laws, coming up with economic plans, coming up with everything that basically makes society go, but have had little to no concern over the welfare of women and families. When the men don't have day-to-day interaction or they don't have day-to-day hands-on experience in the keeping of the children in the house. They don't deal on a regular basis with the trials and tribulations of the teenagers and things like that. The concern is that when men are extracted from this environment, as has historically been done, then when they go to make laws, they're not making laws that are in the best interest of the children, in the best interest of the women. There's a concern, and remember, we're talking centuries, we're talking about the past several centuries, not the past 10 years, although there's not to say that everything's been great the past 10 years. But if we go back, just think back to the 1950s, okay? Just go back the 60 years to the 1950s when the expectation was that you were going to fit into a particular gender role, okay? Women were going to get married, stay at home, have kids, keep house. Men were going to get married, get a job, and provide for their families. Okay, this was the expectation. Women might go to college, but they go to college to get their MRS, not their BA or BS. Have y'all heard that before? This is something my grandmother says. Now, this was prior to the 50s. But, she went to college, and if you ask her, well, what degree did you get? She'll say, I got my MRS. That was the expectation, that the woman didn't need to keep going to college after getting married. The man needed to get the college degree. The man needed to get the job. The man needed to bring home enough money to provide for his wife and children who were staying at home. And this resulted in long hours, hard work that took him out of the day-to-day life of family business. I mean, think back to Leave It to Beaver or Father Knows Best, okay? These are the antiquated pictures of family dynamics. If you're not familiar with either of those because you're so very, very young, try and remember as far back to the movie Pleasantville, how everything started on that, happy little television show where dad comes home from work and mom's standing there with a martini, and there's this massive, dinner that's ready that nobody could ever legitimately cook in one day, and keep the house clean and keep the hair perfect and the dress clean. There was this notion that the men were going to focus all on work and taking care of everything, and women were going to stay home. But that's resulted in women being left out of, or rather the welfare of women being left out of laws, which is why in the 1950s, a woman wouldn't press charges against her husband for rape. That wasn't possible because the welfare of the woman was not what was important there. Your husband beat you? Well, shucks darn, wear long sleeves and try and get dinner on the table a little bit earlier. That was the expectation. And feminist social justice theorists complain about this because there are, in fact, problems that women have to deal with, that dynamics between parent and child that are only understood if one has that day-to-day hands-on experience with taking care of the children. Does that make sense?